Hi everyone, Chillax here and welcome back to another Anchor Panic video. So for this week, Entropy Cataclysm finally came out. This is the giant robo lady that you fight, and this is a game mode that appears periodically, maybe like once every 2 or 3 weeks. Very good game mode because the rewards given from this game mode is quite good. You get something called pure light dust crystals, which you obtain for every one of these 10 floors that you clear, and all the way to the boss. This is the 10th floor, and on the 10th floor it becomes an endless mode essentially, in which you can keep trying until you get the highest score. And basically you set 5 teams. So if I was to start challenge, we'll go ahead and consume an attempt, and then here is where we set up our 5 teams: 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So, the purpose of today's video is to go over exactly how I would construct these teams to optimize my damage output. Because you basically, each attempt gives you 1 attack try for each of the 5 teams. When you are a new player, I think constructing even 3 teams is quite a challenge, but eventually you will get to a point where you can construct 5 teams. Now, a lot has happened since the last time Entropy has come out, so I'm going to actually fine-tune my lineup because we've gotten new heroes, and I have more heroes built. So, as a rule of thumb, I would say that the top 2 teams are going to be a Quantum Shell as well as a Lightning Shell. And then the 3rd team is typically some sort of ice team, 4th team would be some sort of fire team, and 5th team would be whatever you've got left. So let's go one by one here. This team actually worked out quite well for me. Essentially you're running double breaker along with a speed tuner attack buffer. You have a healer who can optimize the damage output of your party with the adrenaline buffs from her AoE heal, and then finally you have the premium quantum DPS, who is Tia. And you can actually copy this formation here, because typically what happens is that the boss will focus opposite. So she's always hitting the second tile from the front in the middle, which in this case will be turn, and I have turn pretty tanky. So with let me see here. Yeah, 4-piece block rate. So that's going to be quite good. Pardon the noise, it's my gardener doing the yard work. So anyway, so this would be my quantum team. This team is capable of scoring about 6 mil points against the boss, at least for 2 weeks ago. And then for the lightning team, this is where I might change things a little bit. I have my Abyss Elysia tanking, and then I have my lightning DPSs, I have my lightning breaker, and I have my speed tuner. Now we do have the introduction of the new operator, who is going to be Thunderrock. So I guess the question is, do I even need Thunderrock in the team? And I would say the answer to that question is probably not. Because you got 2 main DPSs, actually 3 main DPSs, you have a breaker and you have a healer. Now, Echo's second passive might not be enough to heal everyone. So, what you could do actually is, if you're concerned about survival, like let's say we get to boss number 8, what I probably would do is swap Alice out for Thunderrock and put Alice in the throwaway team essentially. Yeah, so I'd probably do something like this, to further enhance the survivability of the team. Yeah, and then team 2, in order for this ice team to work, you essentially have a reliable tank in the middle. So in this case, it's going to be Flicker, because she applies a shield every turn. And then I have my breakers in the form of Abyssal and Rose. And I have a 3rd breaker actually in the form of Lang Jiao, and then my main DPS, Ukali. And then for team 4, it's going to be my fire team, although I think my Centauria might not have. Yeah, she has kind of throwaway models. I wonder if I can optimize her right now. But anyways, don't worry about the models. This is just team formation. So, I would optimize my Centuria's models to tank hits better. I would even maybe put my tank in the middle here, although this limits the number of heroes that I buff with my Centuria's attack buff. So there's kind of a trade-off here. But I think it makes a lot of sense to put your tank in the middle, because that is what the boss will focus on. But of course the other heroes will take splash damage. Yeah, I probably do something like this. So, what I don't like about fire teams is that Grenache needs to be surrounded by the allies for them to get the lifesteal, and then Centauria wants surrounding allies, and then Olivia. Yeah, I think one problem with the fire element in general is that there's too many heroes that want the allies to be within a 3x3 square, so you end up not being able to maximize the attack buff or the lifesteal buff of everyone. But it is what it is. I think to optimize the damage output of the party, I'd probably do something like this, where these 3 heroes get the attack buff. Actually, I'd probably still go like this. Let's just do it that way. And then for team 5, this is my throwaway team. So I do have a nice nature shell. I have a healer / shielder, and then whoever I have left. So yeah, these are the remaining heroes I have built. So let's start off with the lightning team. Let's see how this does. So let's go ahead and deploy. Now granted, we are on level 1, so on the first day the boss will be very easy to fight. I might do a future recording later with a more optimized team. I'll probably do that, so we'll treat this as more a beginner's guide to team building, and then we'll have a follow-up video to the optimal team formation that I run for my personal best score. Yeah, so ideally you will have at least 1 breaker to bring down the tenacity gauge of the opponent. And the tenacity gauge is going down pretty quick because this is the easy boss. So yeah, during the first couple levels you might be able to defeat the boss with just 1 team. And as you can see, you get these valuable rewards here, and that's our score. And then we'll go ahead and start the challenge again. This time I'll go ahead and show the quantum team so you know how it works. So with this team you'll deplete the enemy's tenacity gauge very quickly. And with every difficulty advancement of the boss, Ash, she will be tankier. Like her shields will be higher, her health bar will be more, tenacity gauge will be harder to break, and then naturally you'll take more damage. Yeah, so this is breaker number 1. Now, this team doesn't have as much synergy as I would like, because typically you would want the breakers moving first, and then your DPS is moving second. But because Tia is the kind of unit who in a PvP setting needs to move ahead of all the enemies, so with my Tia, if I was to really optimize, I would probably make my Tia slower here, and then my breakers move ahead of her. So I'd probably swap the model set, but because I'm using Tia in PvP, so I'm not going to risk it, because when you switch the model set here, you switch the model set for her everywhere else. Yeah, but it's still a very solid team, and as you probably notice at the top, you only get six turns, so really optimizing your damage output is going to be key to getting a high score. Okay, so let's go ahead and show the the ice team. Yes, and the thing about this boss is that you can redo the attempts as many times as you want when you reach endless mode. So for this ice team, what I would typically do is try to fish for the optimal run in which my Lang Jiao is freezing the boss every other turn, because this will do 2 things. It'll significantly improve the survivability of your team, And the second thing is that her freeze will reduce the tenacity gauge of the boss by at least a quarter, and that can really improve the overall score of your team. Yeah, so we ended up freezing the boss, and by this time the tenacity gauge has been, brought to almost 0. But you notice that she was able to reduce the tenacity gauge even further with the freeze. And actually, against a frozen enemy, your Ukali is going to do more damage. Yeah. And that's pretty much it, guys. I hope you guys found this this guide informative. If you'd like to support me and help me with the YouTube algorithm, don't forget to drop a like, comment, and subscribe. And I will catch you in the next video, guys. Take care.